Welcome to Stories Junction. Let's begin today's story. My name is Daniel. I've always been a quiet man, someone who thrives in solitude rather than in the company of others. I write for a living, novels, essays, the occasional article when inspiration strikes. Writing is where I feel at peace, where the world makes sense. It's a job that demands long hours alone, and I've never minded that. In fact, I prefer it. Social gatherings have never been my thing. The small talk, the forced laughter, the endless conversations about things I don't care about. I find it all exhausting. I learned long ago that pretending to be interested in the lives of people I'll never see again is a waste of my energy. So, I avoid it whenever possible. While others chase the warmth of human connection, I find my comfort in books, in the quiet rhythm of my thoughts. But if there was one thing that used to matter more to me than my work, it was my marriage. Used to, that's the key phrase. My wife, Emma, and I have been together for over a decade. We weren't always like this, cold, distant, little more than strangers under the same roof. There was a time when we were happy, when we shared quiet moments filled with warmth, when her laughter was something I cherished. But somewhere along the way, that laughter stopped being for me. We don't fight. At least, not in the way you'd expect. There are no screaming matches, no broken dishes, no slammed doors. Just silence. Silence so thick that it feels like a barrier, a wall between us that neither of us seems willing to break. Emma is nothing like me. She's outgoing, ambitious, always moving, always planning her next step. She thrives in high-pressure environments, loves the fast-paced nature of corporate consulting. Her job demands her time, and she gives it freely. Late nights at the office became her norm. Business trips stretched longer than necessary. At first, I asked questions. Asterisk, why so late? Asterisk, can't you come home earlier? Asterisk, when will we actually spend time together? Asterisk, the answers were always the same. An apologetic smile, a vague excuse about deadlines and client expectations. A promise that things would slow down soon. But they never did. Eventually, I stopped asking. I got tired of hearing the same empty reassurances, tired of pretending I didn't know the truth. She didn't have time for me because she didn't want to make time for me. So I withdrew. I poured myself into my writing, into the quiet world of my own creation. I told myself that it was enough, that I didn't need more, that I didn't need her. But the truth? The truth was that I missed my wife. Then, one evening, Emma did something unexpected. She brought up the company gala, a high-profile event her firm was hosting. She didn't just invite me. She insisted I come. "It'll be good for you," she said, her voice carrying an enthusiasm I hadn't heard in a long time. Asterisk, a chance to meet some of the brightest minds in my industry. It's a networking opportunity. Asterisk, I almost laughed at that. Networking? With corporate executives and business strategists who had nothing in common with me? I had no interest in shaking hands with people who measured success in numbers and mergers. No desire to sit through conversations about stock markets and company expansions. But there was something about the way Emma pushed it that made me pause. This wasn't a casual suggestion. It was a demand. And for the first time in years, it felt like she was making an effort. A part of me, the part that still wanted to believe we could find our way back to each other, latched onto that thought. Maybe this was her way of trying. Maybe this was her version of an olive branch, an invitation into her world, the same world I had always felt like an outsider in. So, against my better judgment, I agreed. "All right," I said. Asterisk, I'll go. Asterisk, I wasn't exactly thrilled about it, but if there was even the smallest chance that this could be a step toward fixing things between us, I was willing to endure a few hours of forced smiles and shallow conversations. At the time, I had no idea that saying yes to that party would be the first step toward the end of everything. The night of the gala arrived quicker than I expected. I stood in front of the mirror, adjusting the stiff collar of my tailored suit. One Emma had picked out months ago, but I had never worn. It felt foreign on me, a costume rather than something that belonged to me. I wasn't used to dressing up for anyone, least of all a room full of people I had no desire to impress. Emma, on the other hand, looked radiant. She had gone all out, wearing a deep emerald dress that hugged her figure perfectly. Her hair was styled in loose waves, makeup subtle but flawless. She looked every bit the successful, confident woman she had always been. For a moment, I almost let myself admire her the way I used to. But the feeling faded just as quickly as it came. Asterisk ready? Asterisk, she asked, glancing at me through the mirror. I nodded, forcing a small smile. Asterisk, let's get this over with. Asterisk, the venue was as extravagant as I had expected. Grand chandeliers, polished marble floors, and men and women in expensive attire sipping champagne and exchanging pleasantries with effortless ease. The air smelled of expensive perfume and ambition. As soon as we stepped inside, Emma transformed. She was in her element here, smiling, laughing, weaving through the crowd like she belonged. And she did. This was her world. I was just an outsider playing the part of a supportive husband. Asterisk, Daniel, meet some of my colleagues. Asterisk, I turned just in time to see a group of well-dressed professionals regarding me with polite curiosity. Asterisk, so you're Daniel. We've heard so much about you. Asterisk, one of them said, extending a hand. I shook it, nodding. Asterisk, all good things, I hope. Asterisk, a few chuckled at that, but I could tell my presence was something of a novelty. I was the mysterious husband, the writer who rarely showed up, the man behind the woman they all knew and admired. Some of them asked about my work, my books, my thoughts on literature and art. Surprisingly, I found myself engaging more than I expected. Maybe this wouldn't be so bad. The evening went by in a blur of conversations and introductions. The drinks were decent, the people tolerable, and for the first time in a long while, Emma actually acknowledged me in her world. She stole glances at me across the room, smiled in a way that almost felt real. I wasn't foolish enough to believe that one night would magically fix our marriage, but for a fleeting moment, I let myself think that maybe, just maybe, this was a step in the right direction. Then everything changed. The music shifted. The lights dimmed slightly. The dance floor began to fill with couples swaying to the rhythm of a slow, melodic tune. And that's when I saw him. A man approached us with the kind of confidence that only comes from knowing you'll get what you want. He didn't acknowledge me, didn't so much as glance in my direction. Instead, he walked straight to Emma, his gaze locked onto hers. Asterisk, shall we? Asterisk, he asked, holding out his hand like the answer was already decided. His voice was smooth, self-assured. I expected Emma to laugh it off, to shake her head and stay where she was. I expected her to wave him away, to tell him she was here with her husband. But she didn't. She smiled, and for a split second, she hesitated. That hesitation was all I needed to see. Instinct took over. I reached out, my grip firm on her wrist, holding her back before she could take a step. My voice was low, controlled. Asterisk, you're not going anywhere. Asterisk, the man, asterisk, Ethan asterisk, I would later learn, finally acknowledged my existence. He turned his head slightly, his expression unreadable. He didn't say anything at first, just looked at me, as if he was sizing me up. I held my ground. If you want to dance with my wife, I said, voice steady, asterisk, do things the right way. Or don't do them at all. Asterisk, that should have been the end of it. But it wasn't. Emma turned to me with an expression I hadn't seen in years, one of pure frustration, as if I was the one doing something wrong. Asterisk, what the hell is wrong with you? Asterisk, she snapped, yanking her arm free from my grip. Asterisk, you're embarrassing me. Asterisk, embarrassing her. Not a single ounce of shame. No hesitation. No attempt to make it look innocent. I stared at her, stunned. She turned back to Ethan, brushing past me like I was nothing more than an obstacle in her path. Like I didn't matter. She was about to leave with him, right in front of me. No shame. No hesitation. Something inside me snapped. If you move an inch, I said, voice quiet but firm, asterisk, I'll be forced to end this marriage. Asterisk, that was when Ethan finally reacted. He turned fully to face me, his gaze locking onto mine. And then, with a slow, deliberate smirk, he said, asterisk, you've always been a weak man, and you won't do anything. Asterisk. Then, without breaking eye contact, he reached for Emma's hand, and she let him. She let him take her hand, let him pull her onto that dance floor, let him lead her away as if I wasn't even there. I stood frozen, the weight of humiliation pressing down on me. But I refused to give them the satisfaction of a reaction. I wouldn't be the fool who caused a scene in a room filled with her colleagues. So I turned, and I walked away, alone. That night, when Emma finally came home, I was still awake. I heard the front door open, heard the sound of her heels clicking against the hardwood floor. I'd already made up my mind about many things that night, yet sleep refused to come. A few minutes later, she stood in the doorway, arms crossed. I expected an excuse, maybe a weak apology, some attempt at explaining away her actions. But no. Instead, she launched straight into an accusation. "You embarrassed me," she declared, her eyes burning with resentment. Asterisk. "You made a scene for no reason and then you just left. You abandoned me at my own work party." Asterisk. I stared at her, listening to every word. In her mind, she was the victim. I was the one who had ruined everything. It was in that moment that I understood something clearly. Emma no longer respected me. Not as her husband. Not as a man. And a marriage without respect? It's already dead. But before I could deal with Emma, there was another man I needed to handle. Ethan. He thought I was weak. He thought I would do nothing. That was his first mistake. But it would also be his last. I didn't sleep that night. Emma had stormed into the bedroom after our brief confrontation, muttering something under her breath before disappearing under the covers, her back turned to me. I sat in the dim glow of the bedside lamp, staring at the ceiling, my mind churning with thoughts darker than the night outside. Ethan. I barely knew the man, yet I hated him with a quiet intensity one hadn't felt in years. Not because he had the audacity to approach my wife in front of me, but because he had done it knowing she wouldn't resist. Because he had smirked at me, certain of his victory, and because I had let him. I had walked away, like a coward, like a weak man. His words echoed in my head. Asterisk, you won't do anything. Asterisk. I clenched my fists, the nails digging into my palms. He thought I was nothing, that I would let this go, that I would simply accept my place as the forgotten husband, the man whose wife had already moved on without officially ending things. He was wrong. I got out of bed just as the first hints of dawn crept through the curtains. Emma was still asleep. Good. I didn't want to see her right now. I showered, dressed, and left the apartment without a word. I had one goal: find Ethan, and make sure he understood that he had made a mistake. Tracking him down wasn't difficult. A few quick internet searches, some social media digging, and I had everything I needed. Ethan Holloway, a rising executive in one of the city's top firms. Young, successful, arrogant. He thrived in the same corporate jungle as Emma, his name mentioned alongside hers in various professional circles. No wonder she hesitated that night. This wasn't some random guy at the party. He was someone important to her. I found out where he worked, where he liked to grab his morning coffee. His gym. His schedule was predictable. He was a man of routine. He operated on precision, on control. He wasn't expecting someone like me to disrupt his carefully curated world. That was his second mistake. I waited outside his gym, a sleek, upscale facility in the city's business district. The kind of place where men like him went to maintain the illusion of dominance. When he finally emerged, dressed in expensive athletic gear, his expression was one of self-assurance, like a man who had never truly lost at anything in life. That was about to change. I stepped forward, making sure he saw me. His eyes flickered with recognition, then amusement. "Well, look who it is," he said, smirking. Asterisk. "I didn't expect you to show up." "What?" Finally growing a spine. Asterisk. "I didn't rise to the bait." Asterisk. "We need to talk." Asterisk. He sighed, shaking his head as if I were some mild inconvenience. Asterisk. "I don't have time for whatever this is. Go home, Daniel. Your wife." Asterisk. He stopped himself, a smug grin playing on his lips. Asterisk. "Oh, wait. That's right. Is she even really your wife anymore?" Asterisk. That was his third mistake. Before he could react, I grabbed him by the collar and slammed him against the wall of the gym's exterior. The arrogance in his face vanished, replaced by genuine shock. "Listen to me," I said, my voice dangerously low. Asterisk. "I don't care what you think you know about me. But if you ever, lay a hand on Emma again, if you so much as look at her, I will make sure you regret it. Asterisk. He scoffed, but there was an edge of unease in his eyes. Asterisk. You really think you scare me? Asterisk. I leaned in closer. Asterisk. You should. Asterisk. For a moment, there was silence. I could feel his pulse quicken beneath my grip, could see the flicker of uncertainty. He wasn't used to being challenged. You're pathetic, he finally sneered. Asterisk. Threatening me like this won't change anything. She's already chosen, Daniel. You lost. Walk away before you embarrass yourself further. Asterisk. I let go of him abruptly, causing him to stumble slightly. I could have hit him. I wanted to, but that would have been too easy. Men like Ethan thrived on power plays. A punch would be forgotten. But fear? Fear lingers. I stepped back, adjusting my sleeves. Asterisk, we'll see about that. Asterisk. I turned and walked away, leaving him standing there, rattled but trying to hide it. The game had changed. I wasn't walking away anymore. I was going to make him regret ever stepping into my life. And as for Emma, it was time for her to make a choice, one she wouldn't be able to take back. I arrived home to find Emma sitting at the kitchen table, her fingers drumming against the wooden surface, a half-empty cup of coffee in front of her. She looked up as I entered, her eyes narrowing. Asterisk, where were you? Asterisk, her voice was sharp, laced with suspicion. I ignored the question and walked past her, heading straight for the fridge. I needed a moment to let my anger settle before I said something I couldn't take back. Asterisk, Daniel. Asterisk. I sighed, gripping the handle of the fridge door, but not opening it. Asterisk, what? Asterisk. Asterisk, you disappeared. After last night, you just left without saying a word. Asterisk. I turned to face her, leaning against the counter. Asterisk, and? Did you notice? Did it bother you? Asterisk. She flinched at the bitterness in my tone. Asterisk, of course it did. Asterisk, she hesitated. Asterisk, look, I know things have been tense, but you can't just walk away every time something happens. Asterisk. I let out a humorless laugh. Asterisk, that's rich, coming from you. Asterisk. Her eyes darkened. Asterisk, what's that supposed to mean? Asterisk. Asterisk. You know exactly what it means, Emma. You think I don't see it? The way you look at him? The way you hesitate when I ask you simple questions about your work friend? Hell, you didn't even push him away at the party. You let him touch you, right in front of me. Asterisk. She stiffened, her face paling. Asterisk, that's not fair. Asterisk. Asterisk. No, what's not fair is me standing in our home, feeling like a stranger in my own marriage. What's not fair is you entertaining the idea of him while still wearing my ring. Asterisk. Her jaw clenched. Asterisk, so that's what this is? You're accusing me of cheating. Asterisk. I'm accusing you of something worse, I said quietly. Asterisk. You're keeping me in your life, but you're not choosing me. You're stringing me along, pretending we're fine while you keep one foot out the door. Asterisk. Silence. She looked away, her hands gripping the edge of the table. I watched as her breathing grew uneven, as if she was fighting an internal battle. It's not that simple, she finally whispered. I stared at her, something inside me cracking. Asterisk, it is for me. Asterisk. She swallowed hard. Asterisk, Daniel. I don't know what you want me to say. Asterisk. Asterisk, I want the truth. Asterisk. She exhaled shakily. Asterisk, I don't know the truth. I don't know what I want anymore. Asterisk. And there it was. The confession that hit harder than any slap could. I felt something inside me go cold. I had been holding on to hope, onto the belief that she was just lost, that we could fix this. But now, staring at the woman I had built my life with, I realized something painful. She wasn't lost. She was already gone. Then we have nothing left to talk about, I said, my voice void of emotion. I turned and walked away, leaving her sitting at the table, her head in her hands. I needed air, space, anything to get away from the weight crushing my chest. My feet carried me aimlessly through the streets of the city, my mind replaying the conversation over and over again. How had we gotten here? How had I become the man whose wife no longer loved him? I thought about Ethan, the way he had looked at me outside the gym, the way he had smirked, so sure of himself. He thought he had won, and maybe, in Emma's heart, he already had. But I wasn't done. I wasn't just going to let them walk all over me. I wasn't going to be the fool who stood by while another man took everything from him. I needed to do something, something drastic, something that would remind them both who I was. As I stood at the edge of a quiet park, my phone buzzed in my pocket. I pulled it out and stared at the screen. Emma. For a moment, I considered ignoring it. But then, against my better judgment, I answered. Daniel, she breathed, her voice shaking. Asterisk what? Asterisk. There was silence. Then, in a broken whisper, she said the words that changed everything. Asterisk, he's here. Asterisk. My entire body went still. Asterisk, what do you mean? Asterisk. Asterisk, Ethan. He's outside. He won't leave. Asterisk. My pulse roared in my ears. Asterisk, did you let him in? Asterisk. No, she said quickly. Asterisk, but he's not leaving, Daniel. He's angry. I don't know what to do. Asterisk. My fingers tightened around my phone. Stay inside, I said, my voice ice cold. Asterisk. Don't open the door. I'm coming. Asterisk. I hung up and turned on my heel, my heart pounding like a war drum. Ethan had just made his final mistake. This time, I wasn't just going to threaten him. This time, I was going to end this. The night air was sharp as I moved through the city, my steps quick and deliberate. My mind was a storm, filled with the weight of every choice, every moment that had led to this. I wasn't thinking about what came after. Right now, all that mattered was that Ethan was at my house, standing on my doorstep, testing the limits of my patience. By the time I reached our street, my hands were clenched into fists. From the shadows, I spotted him, standing under the glow of the porch light. He wasn't knocking. He wasn't calling out. He was just waiting. For what? For Emma? For me? I wasn't sure, but I wasn't about to let him stand there any longer. I stepped into the light, and his head snapped up. Daniel, he said, a slow smirk forming on his lips. Asterisk, took you long enough. Asterisk. I walked right up to him, stopping only inches away. Asterisk, what the hell do you think you're doing? Asterisk, I said, my voice quiet but firm. He shrugged, stuffing his hands into his pockets like he had all the time in the world. Asterisk just came to see Emma. She didn't want to talk, so I figured I'd wait. Asterisk, asterisk outside my house. Asterisk, your house, he repeated, chuckling. Asterisk, see, that's the thing, Daniel. You keep saying that like it means something. But let's be honest. Asterisk, he tilted his head. Asterisk, she's already gone, isn't she? Asterisk. The words hit their mark, and he knew it. I could feel my restraint unraveling, the anger clawing its way up my spine. You're a real piece of shit, Ethan, I said, my voice low. Maybe, he admitted, asterisk, but at least I'm honest. Unlike you. Unlike her. Asterisk. I took a step closer, so close I could see the arrogance flickering in his eyes. If you're so sure she wants you, I said, asterisk, why are you standing out here, begging for her attention? Asterisk. His smirk faltered. Asterisk, you think she's picking you? I continued. Asterisk. You think she wants to be with some desperate little coward who doesn't know when to walk away? Asterisk. His jaw clenched. Asterisk, screw you, man. Asterisk. Nah, I said. Asterisk, you already lost. You just don't want to admit it. Asterisk. That did it. He lunged. His fist swung toward my face, but I was ready. I sidestepped, grabbed his collar, and shoved him backward. He stumbled down the porch steps, barely catching himself before he hit the ground. Get the hell off my property, I said. He pushed himself up, rage burning in his eyes. Asterisk, you think this is over? Asterisk. Asterisk, I know it is. Asterisk. For a moment, he looked like he wanted to charge at me again. But then his gaze shifted to the front door, to the window where Emma stood watching. She wasn't coming outside. She wasn't rushing to his defense. And that, more than anything, seemed to break him. His face twisted, his confidence cracking. Then, without another word, he turned and walked away. I watched until he disappeared down the street. Only then did I exhale. I didn't go inside right away. I stood there, staring out at the empty road, listening to the silence that followed. Finally, I stepped inside and shut the door. Emma stood in the hallway, arms wrapped around herself. She looked at me like she wanted to say something. I beat her to it. He's not coming back, I said. She swallowed hard. Asterisk, I didn't ask him to come. Asterisk. Asterisk, I know. Asterisk. A heavy pause. Asterisk, what now? Asterisk, she whispered. I looked at her, really looked at her. The woman I had loved for years. The woman who had once been my home. She wasn't anymore. Asterisk now. Asterisk, I said. Asterisk now, I'm done. Asterisk. Her breath caught. Daniel, you don't love me, I said, my voice steady. Asterisk. And I'm not going to keep pretending this can be fixed. I deserve more than that. Asterisk. Tears filled her eyes. But she didn't argue. She didn't beg. Because she knew I was right. And just like that, it was over. The divorce was simple. No dramatic fights, no last-minute confessions. Just signatures on paper and a quiet understanding that we had run our course. Emma moved out. I stayed. The house felt bigger without her, but not emptier. Just different. As for Ethan, I never saw him again. Maybe he realized he wasn't the man she wanted after all. Maybe he had never been. But that wasn't my problem anymore. I had spent too long fighting for something that had already slipped away. Now, for the first time in a long time, I was ready to move forward. On my own terms.